please welcome to the stage, Mike Zakarian.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Little NBA bit coming at you. Tried to fire this up a couple of times last week, but man, your boy battling the elements. I think we're like 2 weeks in on this freaking cold now. We got Bandy's attention here. Let's go. What's up, doggo? But I hope everybody had a nice little weekend, enjoyed some football, enjoyed some play or almost playoff baseball. We get Sox Yankees on Tuesday. How about that? We get some fantasy updates. We got lots of stuff going on. But if it's your first time here, do me a favor. Like the video, hit the subscribe. If you're watching on Twitter, thanks for hanging out over there too. Just come on over to YouTube. We got the New Orleans Pelicans basketball brought to you by Ozempic. Let's go. Listen, we're going to talk about Skinny Zion. We will talk about Skinny Zion. You made the thumbnail. But before we do that, let's just keep you up to date with what's going on today. So NBA, the marathon show, baby, we are less than a month away. So October 21st, we're going to be live from noon until tip of the very first game. It's going to be, we've got a presenting sponsor, MoonPay. Shout out MoonPay. We're going to be giving out $200 from our friends over at MoonPay during the show. It's going to go right to your MoonPay wallet, which is very exciting. We've got some sponsorships with Splash Sports for that day and Playback as well. So very exciting stuff going on for the marathon show. Listen, here's some guests we have. Molly Morrison making her return. Eddie Gonzalez jumping on the show. We've got Trill Bro Dude from the 76ers jumping on. We've got Andrew Schlecht from the OKC Thunder. Noah Dalzell from CNLS Media to talk some Boston stuff. So more guests are coming. Very exciting. So just make sure you're checking in on that. I feel like there's some other stuff that we need to get into, but let's check in with the chat. We got Maddie Harrison. There we go. Member for 40 months strong. Coach Stark, yeah, Suns will be tough, but they'll be fun. We got Patty Coyne, member for 47 months. You love to see that. Happy National Wildlife Refuge Day. Thank you, Snoop Blue. Stan loves, keep it chill, Stan. Keep it chill. But what I thought we could do today is we talk a little bit about Zion, about some of the news that happened over the weekend. It's media day today. And so I've got like 15 minutes left, I think, right? 15 minutes left in the Pablo Torre new video that dropped today. But man, Pablo is a menace for this. So for those not familiar with what he did today, dropped more information, basically connecting the Clippers' involvement in the Kawhi payment through Aspiration. And he did it on media day. And he did it intentionally too. And I both love it. It's a real, I've got the receipts situation. And he did it in the moment where people will be asking the most questions. Now, it's already been confirmed that Ballmer won't be at media day. I'm sure nobody's going to actually answer a question. But man, the barrage of questions, I think of Law Murray of The Athletic. I'm sure he's like the Clippers beat writer that I remember the most anyways, that they are just get peppered with questions. I mean, how is it going to impact the season moving forward? How the team's just going to have to constantly answer this stuff, assuming that the NBA decides they're not going to or that their investigation is going to last through the All-Star game, which is what they've said so far. But man, again, I get to finish the last 10 minutes. I encourage everybody else to go check it out. But It just is. It's just bad. This reminds me of Richard Nixon. I'm not a crook. But I feel like this cover up is going to end up being way worse. I think the penalty is going to end up being way worse just because they're not being truthful with what's going on. And it's just, I don't know. The first time he comes with the receipts, you got to imagine he's going to find more receipts. Usually, as this stuff starts trickling out, you don't find less information. You know what I mean? You don't find less. Once people start talking, the faucet gets turned. So I don't understand. Excuse me. Patty said, "Is today the day the teams take pictures?" I believe that already happened. They usually don't do that at media day. I believe that already happened, but they haven't been published yet. So I don't know. But yeah, I think the Clippers are going to be in trouble. But good. I'm here for the drama. I'm here for the goss, keep it coming. Let's get into some of the stuff that happened over the weekend though. And we can keep talking about the Clippers if you want to, just keep it a buck in the chat. The Warriors waited until almost October. They were like, wake me up when September ends or when it's almost over, and then we'll start doing some stuff. But Shams was out there just firing off tweets last night as the Warriors did everything they could besides Jonathan Kuminga. The Kuminga situation still has yet to be resolved. I at first when this started happening, I was like, "Oh, did the Warriors I thought the Warriors had reached an agreement and then this is how the information was trickling out." You know what I'm saying? That they were like, "Okay, the last update we'll get is Kuminga." But the Warriors basically went out there and this started what was it? Al Horford, the first one to go. Free agent Al Horford committed to a multi-year, I believe it's just a 2-year deal with the Warriors, right? So Al goes there, and then immediately after Al, they're like, okay, we're also getting Gary Payton and D'Anthony Melton. And then after that, they went out there and got number 56 pick, Will Richard. And then they also, I think there was another guard or another pick, Alex Tuhey, to a 2-way contract. The one thing that I thought was interesting about the Will Richard thing is, do you guys remember, wasn't Bronny James pick 56? And then everybody lost their shit. A 56-round pick getting a guaranteed deal? That never happens. And then it just happened again, which I think is funny. But anyways, the Warriors going ahead and doing all of this and then not announcing the Kuminga thing is pretty fascinating. And for those that missed it, I believe it was last week or maybe at the end of the week before, Kuminga's agent went on the Hoop Collective podcast. And I got to tell you, man, I think if my agent started doing podcast tours, I think I might fire him. And I've never had an agent because I'm a failed comedian, but you got to imagine if Kuminga, I'm sure Kuminga knew, but if he the podcast load in that day and he's like, "Hey, Aaron Turner, I wonder if that's like Evan Turner's brother. That can't be my agent, right?" And then he's like, "I actually think Kuminga's been doing pretty good. I think he's been doing pretty good this offseason." I can't imagine Joe Lacob or Mike Dunleavy or Steve Kerr heard that podcast and they're like, "Man, his agent brings up a good point when talking to Windhorst. We got to sign this guy." But I do still think the Warriors are going to sign Kuminga. I just wonder what it's going to be like, because when you look at the restricted free agents that are left, or the restricted free agents this summer, right? Josh Giddey up. He got his deal. He got his $20+ million a year for the next few years. Cam Thomas did not get his money. He signed the qualifying offer, right? Then you had Quentin Grimes, who is still yet to sign. And I apologize. I'm still battling the cough. So if you see me slow down a little bit, that's why. Quentin Grimes still hasn't signed, but they had the Jared McCain injury. Shout out to Edwin McCain. But Jared McCain gets dinged up. He's going to miss a ton of time. And so now I wonder if Quentin Grimes gets a little bit more juice to him. And then Kuminga, who's still not signed. Now, the Warriors still have some money to make a move for him, but I don't know what's going to happen here. I will say, I saw people, who was it? Andy from the Light Years pod was because they announced Kuminga wasn't going to be with the team at media day or team activities right now. And I saw a similar sentiment around Quentin Grimes too. And people were like, "Oh, that's so lame. He's not on the team. He's a restricted free agent. He's not on the team right now." Of course he's not. Of course he's not going to be at the media stuff. He's not on the team. I'm also not going to be there. I am not on the team. That makes sense. I don't know. I just thought it was weird. Oh, we got a super chat here. Boston Base says Kaminga more like, and then a bunch of, what did you say in there, Boston Base? You don't give money and then do sassy stuff like that. But anyways, I don't know what's going to happen with Golden State. We're going to do over-unders in the Western Conference. That's going to be the second half of the stuff that we do today. That's going to be the second half of the stuff. And we'll talk about Golden State. But I got to tell you, I think Golden State's a little AARP Golden State Warriors right now. You know, it's making me feel a little like that they're actually, I don't know, this swan song of Steph Curry, I think, was in 2022. I don't think we're going to see it. I don't think we're going to see it moving forward. Let's talk a little bit about the man on the thumbnail. Let's get into some Zion stuff. I needed to pull up this photo here. Okay, I've received lots of questions here so far. Lots of questions over the last couple of days about why is Zion Williamson on Ozempic. I saw Top Shot Common Man, or the Common Man, excuse me, as he rebrands, say that he was on Ozempic. Lots of people asking. Andrew Laird was in the DMs. He was asking the tough questions. Is he on Ozempic? Guys, I don't think it's that surprising when professional athletes lose a lot of weight like this. You know what I mean? Like one of the concerns was they were like, man, if he only took his weight if his health seriously, then he would be a machine. And then he did. Same thing with Luka. You know, they just like took the offseason seriously. I don't think that's surprising. Also, I've been seeing people like there were lots of comments about Luka getting into shape, and this would only happen if the Mavericks traded him. Guys, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Luka was dinged up going into preseason last year, right? Didn't he get hurt? Like, I think part of the reason when Luka gets out of shape, it has more to do with injury. I'm not saying he took the best care of his body, but it had a lot to do with him being injured. Like he would get injured, not be able to work out, move around, and then he'd put on the weight. So I mean, I guess there's some accountability there too. But anyways, these guys aren't on Ozempic. Zion's not on Ozempic. Professional athletes are not taking Ozempic. Zion just took himself seriously. What I'm curious though, are how serious we take the New Orleans Pelicans this year. Weird ass team. I don't understand how it's going to work. They've just got a bunch of like decent players, but none of it makes sense. Sorry, Mike. The storyline is he got in shape after he got dumped by Dallas. It's history now. All right. Let's do any other storylines we didn't get into over the weekend. I guess Jason Tatum, we have to talk about the video that went viral. Jason Tatum, NBA player, also known as a YouTuber. Let me go. I'm going to find the video here. We can watch that together. It's just a quick clip. Celtics on CNLS shared it as well. But there's a real freaking out here that JT is going to come back this year. And I'll give you my take here in a second. Also, Power Duster, Luka's specific injuries were a direct result of him being in poor shape. Yeah, the calf strains. There we go. All right, let's go. Let's look at this video, and then let's talk about Tatum. Let's talk about Tatum because people were losing their mind. Even KD was talking about it. Here we go.
Rusty is a motherfucker.
Oh, whoa, uncensored JT. Okay, this is pretty wild. This Tatum stuff is pretty wild. Saw KD sharing it. We saw just everybody. Bill Simmons was sharing it. Everybody was sharing it. This is pretty nuts, man. So I was looking. I can't find the tweet either, but they were basically doing the time rundown. I think by February he'll be 8 months out since surgery, and so here's the. I just can't see a world in which he actually comes back. And he basically did a press tour last week, right? He was on, it was like Good Morning America. He did everything but the Joe Rogan podcast where he was just like, yeah, I mean, I'm not, like the quotes were awesome. He's like, yeah, I'm not in rehab 6 days a week to not come back and play basketball. Talked about how he thought he'd never play again. He thought the Celtics would trade him. That's shut up the Danny Ainge effect, by the way, after he trades Isaiah Thomas for playing hurt and like having an incredible year. Then he gets dumped, right? So I wonder if that's in the back of Tatum's mind. But here's how it has to play out. First thing, he can't come back limited. And what I mean by that is like, you know how sometimes they're like, oh, he'll play one game, sit another game. He'll be on a minutes restriction. Can't do that because Tatum has to be 100% before you bring him back. Maybe there's a case of he's not going to play back-to-backs because he needs to get his cardio up or something like that. But if there's any concern that we're like, oh, we need to limit him, he can only play 18 minutes a game. Oh, he can only play once a week. Don't do that. Do not do that. The only way Tatum can come back is if he is 100% no restrictions. Otherwise, just leave him. Just let him wait. Wait until next season. There's no need to rush him back. The other thing that needs to happen, the Celtics need to be in contention. The Celtics need to be in contention because if they're not, there's no you don't need to rush him back so you move from like a 10 seed to an 8 seed. I think a lot of what is going to be decided in the spring is going to be a result in what happens in December. Because if the Celtics are somehow inching up towards the All-Star break, which is rumored when Tatum could maybe come back, if the Celtics are somewhere between that 4 and the 7 seed, I think there is a real case that if Tatum is 100% and it's not going to further risk him re-injuring or whatever, there's a case for him to come back. Because when you look at the Eastern Conference, you have the Cleveland and I know if you have been in on the Celtics Daily, you've heard some of this, but the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? And we're not doing their over-unders on the East. We're going to do that later in the week. We're going to do the West today. But just a quick rundown. You have the Cavs, who Garland is not going to be ready to start the season. Max Strus is probably not going to be ready until like the postseason. They lost Ty Jerome. All of a sudden, they're now relying on guys like DeAndre Hunter to be reliable. They're relying on Lonzo Ball to stay healthy. And, again, Donovan Mitchell, Mobley Allen, obviously they're a better team, but when you look at that roster, they're not like a terrifying team. You have the Knicks under first-year coach Mike Brown, and what is that going to look like? They're already talking about starting Mitchell Robinson instead of Josh Hart. Knicks are still going to be fine. You have the Orlando Magic, who added Desmond Bane and Tyus Jones. On paper, look awesome, have yet to win a playoff series as a core. You have the Atlanta Hawks, who haven't done anything since Ben Simmons was a 76er, and they retooled. They have Porzingis. They've got Reese Shea. What's he going to look like? Jalen Johnson back from injury. They picked up Kennard and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Again, on paper, look awesome, have yet to do anything. Detroit Pistons are betting on the fact that Malik Beasley did, in fact, bet on himself. They lost out on shooting. They added Duncan Robinson and Karis LeVert. Is Jaden Ivey going to make a jump? Is Asar Thompson going to make a jump? Is Jalen Duren going to make a jump? You have the Toronto Raptors, who starting 5 on paper sounds awesome. Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett, Jakob Poeltl. Then it is me playing 10 minutes a game for them off the bench. They don't have a bench. You have the Brooklyn Nets, who drafted 45 rookies. You have the Miami Heat, who Andrew Wiggins somehow is still rumored to go to the Lakers. They lost Tyler Hero for probably a few months. So now they're just kind of like, I guess Bam Adebayo is going to lead the way. So like, all of that to say, nobody in the East is scary. You have the 76ers, who Joel Embiid, they're like, skinny Embiid. And then they're like, he might not be ready to go. Paul George is not ready to go. McCain's already hurt and going to miss most of the season, if not the whole thing, right? So I'm not saying the Celtics are going to be a top 3 team. I'm not. But I don't think it's crazy for them to be somewhere between 5 and 8. If I had to rank it right now, I would say it would go. I didn't mention the Bucks, who, yes, they have Giannis Antetokounmpo, but they also have 2 starters named Kevin Porter Jr. and Kyle Kuzma. So, if I had to rank it right now, I would say for the regular season wins, I would go Knicks, Cavs, Magic, Hawks, and then the Pistons are right there and right there too. So I would say those are the top 5. That 6 seed, though, you could tell me anything. If Giannis gets dinged up and misses a little bit of time, then the Bucks are a 9-win team. Also, Giannis apparently did request a trade this summer, and then was like, nah, JK, LOLs. So again, if you told me the Celtics were somewhere between 6 and 9, nice. 6 and 9, and Tatum is 100% and healthy and able to come back, and is able to come back at the end of February, early March, I think the Celtics getting into the play-in, or even getting into the 6th seed, I don't think they're scared of anybody in that first round, no matter who they're playing, right? So, again, we haven't talked about the Celtics roster yet, though, without Tatum. My guess is the starting 5 for Boston right now is going to be Peyton Pritchard at the 1, Derek White at the 2, Jaylen Brown at the 3, Chris Boucher at the 4, and then Nehemiah Queta at the 5, with their bench looking like Sam Hauser, Anthony Simons, whatever they get from the young guys in Jordan Walsh, Baylor Shireman, and Hugo Gonzalez. And then their other bigs are Luka Garza and Xavier Tillman. So, like, again, the Celtics also, they're still in that run of guys, of teams. Of like, you could tell me they finish ahead of Miami, behind Miami, ahead of Milwaukee, behind Milwaukee, ahead of Philly, behind Philly. So I don't know. I don't know where they're going to land, but all that to say is if they are somewhere in that 5 to 9 range and they think Tatum is 100% and there's no restrictions, I could see them doing it. However, if I talked about Giannis missing time, if the Celtics somehow get dinged up early on, like Jaylen Brown misses a month or Derek White misses a month, the Celtics could just pack it in and treat it like we're the federal government in a blue city and just bring the tanks in, and then just go ahead and try to get first round pick there. Boston Base is saying Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Sam Hauser, and Amias Kid. Yeah, they could start Sam Hauser at the 4-2. If they do that, though, who the fuck is playing defense on this team? So Sam Hauser's going to be guarding fours? That's the thing. Like, people are saying, oh, Sam Hauser to stretch the floor, bring some shooting. I mean, Sam Hauser's going to guard KD? Like, what are we talking about? I don't think they can do that. I don't think we can do. They can do that. Regulators in the chat. Didn't bring up the Hornets, but regulators in the chat. What's up, Reg? Let's do some over-unders in the Western Conference, huh? Let's do it. Let's bring up our friends over at FanDuel. We'll do it alphabetically. Let me just make sure this looks right. We'll do it alphabetically and then go down the Western Conference here. Power Duster said, I just would not want my potential Hall of Fame young player to be trying to prove the exception to the medical rule. Totally agree. That's what I mean. He has to be 100% cleared. Like, if he comes back and they're like 18 minutes a game, don't do it. He has to be 100%. 100%. All right, let's go over to NBA win totals over on the FanDuel. Speaking of which, speaking of sports gambling, we got a Splash Sports contest over there. If you haven't joined Splash Sports, we've been doing a lot of football stuff. I mentioned them at the top of the show. They are going to be one of our sponsors for the NBA Marathon show, the first day of the season. We're going to have a big, beautiful contest, guaranteed contest. I can't do impressions today with my voice. It's bad. All right, let's do it. Let's do the Western Conference. First couple here are all Eastern Conference. Dallas Mavericks, first Western. Here we go. Dallas Mavericks over under set at 41.5. I think this one just kind of depends on what you think is happening with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie went on his own stream and said hopefully he's healthy for the playoffs. But then all of a sudden I see a shirtless video of him knocking down like 8 shots in a row from 10 feet behind the three-point line. So right now, the starting 5, I imagine, is D'Angelo Russell, Klay Thompson, I guess Cooper Flagg, and then do they go double big? Anthony Davis and Daniel Gafford, Anthony Davis and Derek Lively? Do they play AD at the 5 with PJ Washington starting at the 4? I don't know. I think if you think Kyrie is back by January, and if you think Cooper Flagg can evolve into like a meaningful rotation guy early on, I think you take the over here. If you think Kyrie is back in March, then I don't know. I think it's hard to take the over. I'm not really sure. This honestly is one of the more difficult ones for me. I don't have a good feel on this whatsoever. I mean, you're relying too on Anthony Davis staying healthy. I think one thing that's fun about this team, I didn't mention Max Christie too. They still have him, although he kind of tailed off after a fun start. Their guard depth is pretty poor. And so they are really going to need Cooper Flagg to be able to play a little point forward, I think, for them to excel. Cooper Flagg's such an interesting case. We've mentioned about Underdog on Double Dribble, like the best ball contest, where Cooper's going anywhere between 28 and 33 ahead of guys like Franz Wagner, LaMelo Ball, Tyrese Maxey. I mean, you really need to think that he's going to be someone that can average like 14, 8 and 8, something like that as a rookie. And there's a case for it if you really think he's going to be doing more of the ball handling. You're going to need, like, who's stretching the floor for him? I guess Klay. Yeah, Power Dust says, what do you have Cooper's impact stat line for the year? I mean, I don't know. I think his ceiling is probably like 18, 9 and 9. Like almost like a baby LeBron type thing. I'm not saying he's going to be LeBron, but you know what I mean? Like, where if the ball is really in his hands that much, I could see it. But I don't know. I feel like this offense would be a little bit more dangerous if they play AD at the 5 and PJ at the 4. But we know that Anthony Davis is like, I'm not a center. I'm not a center. Yeah, 18 might be too much. I think my initial number of 14, 8, and 8 or whatever I said is probably a little bit more realistic. But I don't know. I feel like I'm too low on Cooper based on what I'm seeing in the best ball streets. Like people think they have him going ahead of guys like Franz Wagner in the same position. DeMar DeRozan. I don't know. So we'll see. It's also weird stat-wise because it's not like he's on a bad team, though. You know what I mean? Like Scott, you mentioned Scotty in Toronto, or like Mobley when he was with Cleveland. Like these stats, like this team isn't going to be tanking. This team is supposed to be, good. So I think I would take Cooper over the field, though. Maddie says make AD chase around guys like Paolo all game. He'll want to be a center real quick. Yeah, maybe. So I don't know. What are people doing there? I saw Common Man, who's a homer, said over. Is anybody taking the over here? I think if, gun to head, I was forced to do it. Maybe we say the over. But that's really, you think both of them are starting? Gafford and Lively will definitely, you're going to start all three of them? Who's playing the 3? Anthony Davis at the 3, Gafford at the 4, Lively at the 5. Is that what you're saying? Or do you mean one of them will start? I don't know what's going to happen. Also, they did re-sign Gafford this offseason, right? But they do, or maybe it was before the season ended. They extended him. I do think that at some point they shop one of their centers and then maybe they can get some more shooting. Gafford for Sam Hauser. I don't know. No, AD doesn't have to play the 5. No, he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to play the 5. I agree with you, but I just think that really limits shooting, especially like you're going to need Cooper to shoot like 38%. Also, you're relying on Klay Thompson to be healthy and good again. I don't know. You know what? I'm changing my mind. I'm going under on Dallas. Let's go to Denver here. 54.5 wins. What were their additions? They added Bruce Brown. They added Tim Hardaway Jr. Cam Johnson from Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. has just been wild on podcasts, man. Not everybody needs a podcast. 54 seems right. I'm gonna go over on this because I'm a Nuggets lover. But if I need to go over on some of these teams because I know some teams I'm going under on. I like Denver this year, man. I think they are clearly the second best team in the Western Conference behind the Oklahoma City Thunder. That Fred VanVleet injury sucked so bad for Houston, man, and we'll talk about them when we get there. But that, to me, made them a clear number 2 spot. So I don't even think there's much to say about it. I just think Jokic is awesome. I think they not desperately. I think the Bruce Brown addition is going to be pretty important to them. It's just like a less volatile Russell Westbrook, better defender. Maybe the highs aren't as high when Russ is really going, but the lows definitely are not as low. I think Cam Johnson, I think there's the thought that Cam Johnson is a healthier Michael Porter Jr. To me personally, the ceiling's way higher on MPJ, and both of those guys have been hurt over the last couple of seasons. So I'm not going to be quick to just say that this is a huge win. I think the biggest win for Cam Johnson over MPJ is just the money. But now they're going to have to decide what they're going to do with Cam Johnson long-term too. So they're starting 5, right? Their starting 5 is Jokic, Jamal, and then they've got Christian Brown, who, really took a leap last year. And if he continues to blossom, like maybe that 3-point shot becomes a little bit more consistent and the volume ticks up a little bit, that's pretty spicy. But anyways, those 3, and then I'm assuming Cam Johnson and Aaron Gordon, right? And then so you're Bruce Brown, Timmy Hardaway Jr. coming off the bench as your 7. And then they still seem to be pretty excited about Pickett and Strother, which again, those are just young guys you hope take off. So I don't know. I'm going to take the over on Denver. Not sure what you guys are doing, but that's where I've landed. That is where I've landed. The over on the Nuggets. We talked about the Mavs without doing the PJ drop, and I need to cough and take a sip of water. So let's get the PJ drop.
PJ Washington. PJ Washington. PJ Washington.
All right, let's keep going. That was the Nuggets. Let's get down to the Golden State Warriors. We talked about them at the top. Over 45.5. Well, if you think they can run pure health-wise, then you take the over here. But this is what's their starting five here? Steph Curry. We've got Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green. I don't even know who are the rest of their starters. Brandon Podziemski's in there. Do they have any forwards? Do the Warriors have forwards? It's not Kuminga, right? Who are their small forwards on their roster right now at 45.5? They're asking a lot from some of these guys. They still have Moody technically. We'll see what they do with Kuminga. We know they signed a bunch of bench guys. I think Al Horford should be coming off the bench. I think if they are a good team, Al is coming off the bench. Dude, Snoop, it's one. There's literally nothing they could do that could get me back into it. But I do hold on. Who am I missing here? I feel like I'm missing let's look at their current roster here. I feel like I'm missing some people. Trace Jackson Davis, they still have him, right? Quentin Post is going to get a little bit more run. I wonder if they just start Trace Jackson Davis. Maybe that's what they do. I don't know, man. Buddy Hield's still there too. There we go. Sean in the chat. Let's go. I think, man, I think I'm taking under on the Warriors. Unless you're like, this is last gasp, one last run. I just think the West is too deep, man. We haven't gotten to either of the LA teams. Houston. I don't know. Is anybody trusting this? I mean, I guess you're just like, Steph's going to play 82 games. But I just don't think he will. I mean, when has Jimmy ever done that? When has Jimmy ever played 80? Draymond is like really started to decline a little bit. I know his defense was still there, but I don't know, man. It's weird. Like, I think I'm under on them for total wins for the season, but I would be over on them winning a playoff series. Like, if this was a 7-game series, I don't know. Maybe I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. But this is an 82 regular season games. I know. I'm going to take under. Let's get to Houston. So Houston gets smoked with that Fred VanVleet injury. I've seen like lots of takes of like, oh, this is actually going to be better for Houston long term. It lowers their floor, raises their ceiling. I just disagree. I think they were going to find out if Reed Shepherd could play this year anyways, with or without the Fred VanVleet injury. I think they were going to find out if Amen Thompson could blossom even to higher levels with or without the injury. I think saying that this is a higher ceiling for them is false. But anyways, they lose Fred VanVleet, I would assume, for the season. And now it leaves them with, they can't make any move until after December 15th. And even then, too, they still have like pretty little flexibility outside of like bringing in some like real cheap guy. There's like rumors of Russ. There's no way. But I think this actually puts them in a fun spot. I think they will be a fun league pass team. When you think about that starting five, I tweeted this out right away and it seemed to get a little pushback, but I actually think, that they could do this is starting Amen Thompson at the 1, and then you put Dorian Finney-Smith at the 2. And then you have Kevin Durant at the 3. You could go Tari Eason at the 4, Sengun at the 5. You got to remember, so like that's a crazy defensive team. And then you still, see what you have with Reed Shepherd coming off the bench. They do have Aaron Holiday there to take up some minutes. They did sign Steven Adams back. They also brought Clint Capella there as well. But the shooting is going to be the real question, right? Because, Fred VanVleet might not be the best three-point shooter of all time, but you had to close out on Fred. And right now, with the starting 5 that I gave you, the only shooter they have is Kevin Durant. And I think what was beautiful about this Rockets team, Stance is delusional. Warriors had the second best record in the NBA with Steph and Jimmy Butler. Yeah, I just don't think they are going to put their pedal to the floor here in the regular season. So whatever, Stan. But I think one of the things about this Rockets team that was exciting was how deep they were. And you're like, well, we don't have to really push KD too much. Oh, I didn't even mention Jabari Smith Jr. I think Jabari Smith Jr. starts on Tari Eason, so you'd have Tari Eason coming off the bench. But they are going to be pretty reliant on Jabari Smith Jr.'s three-point shot to evolve. Can Amen Thompson develop any sort of outside game? And what does Reed Shepherd do? We know that Reed Shepherd's offense is there, but the reason he didn't get in too much run last season, one, the team was pretty deep, but like he just did not defend. He did not defend, and that was one of the reasons that Ime wouldn't get him on the floor. So I don't know, man. I think I'm going to take the over on the 52.5. Regulator said maybe trade Eason for a point guard. Yeah, I mean, Tari Eason has yet to be extended yet, and that's something that's hanging over the head of the Rockets right now. I think they really like Tari Eason. I don't think they want to move him. And I think the only way you trade Tari Eason is if you're getting like a big time boy. One thing that I would throw out there, I mean, they could, if Giannis and the Bucks get off to a slow start and Giannis is like, I hate it here, insert the I think you should leave meme. They could put together a little package for Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Tari Eason and Reed Shepherd with some picks. Probably have to put Fred's contract in there to make the money work, or a different contract. And then all of a sudden, if Amen Thompson's untouchable and you're like, hey, listen, we're just going to Amen Thompson, Sengun, or maybe Sengun would have to be in the deal, but Amen Thompson, Sengun, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and we just figure out the rest from there. And I don't even know what point guards are really available right now. I don't even know what point guards are available out there to make a move for. I know Bill Simmons and Zach Lowe had a podcast last week that mentioned some of them. And none of those names were exciting. It was like T.J. McConnell, Peyton Pritchard was thrown in there. So I don't know. I feel like they just kind of weather the storm, see where they are in December, and then just hope that Reed Shepherd and Amen Thompson both evolve a little bit more. Magic Carp said Cam Whitmore would have been fun in Houston. I know. Instead, we get him in the Wizards. Anyways, I'm taking the over on Houston. Let's get to the LA teams. The Clip City, bitch. 47.5. If it wasn't for the Pablo Torre podcast. Wait, hold on. Sean says, I think Reed Shepherd has an athleticism issue, which might keep him in the G League. He's definitely not going to be in the G League this year. He definitely won't be. They have no choice, man. They have no guards. He was already going to be a rotation guy this year. He's going to be in there. Jay Nivey for Eason. I don't know. Maybe. But anyways, 47.5. If it wasn't for Pablo Torre, I think this Clippers team, I'd be like way more excited about it. But they get Bradley Beal pretty much for free. They get John Collins for not having to pay Norman Powell, basically, right? So they picked up Brooke Lopez. Derek Jones Jr. is still there. They got their starting five. Oh, they picked up Chris Paul as well. I mean, I'm assuming I don't know, does Bradley Beal start? But anyways, they've got a pretty deep team there, and they should be able to grind out wins without, forcing guys to play aggressive minutes. Like one of the things that James Harden said during the Bradley Beal deal was that he wanted Beal there so to take a little bit of the load off of Harden. They just seem like they just got their starting. I mean, their top 10 is just pretty sharp. And that to me just seems like they will grind out regular season wins. So I actually would take the over on 47.5 with the one caveat is that if somehow the NBA speeds up this investigation as Pablo continues to drop like nukes, there is a world where Kawhi's contract gets voided. And if that happens in February, I mean, that just absolutely changes the floor and the ceiling of this team. So I probably wouldn't touch this one. If you want to put your conspiracy theory hats on that the NBA is going to do their best to just slap them on the wrist because Ballmer is such a big part of the NBA, then I don't know. I really don't know how to, I wouldn't bet on this. I wouldn't bet on this at all. So the Kawhi then signed somewhere pretty fast, right? I mean, I would think so. But then, does he just wait till, Kawhi also doesn't seem like somebody that wants to play basketball all the time. So maybe he just waits until the offseason. I don't know. But he also really likes money. So maybe he signs immediately. I really don't know. Yeah, this is great. Clippers made some savvy moves and then not signing Paul George. Meanwhile, the Sixers are out here being like, we're dumb. I would take the over and not bet on this one. The Lakers, baby, the Los Angeles Lakers somehow have a higher win total than the Clippers. I feel like I would just straight up bet that the Clippers I don't know. Can you bet on this? That the Clippers just finished with more wins than the Lakers? I think that would be the bet. Power Duster said Ballmer could literally buy out the whole league. It'll be a slap on the wrist. I know. Do they have to pull the trees out that they vowed to plant? They should. Let's talk about the Lakers. So they add DeAndre Ayton pretty much for free, and Luka comes back and he's in shape. I do think the Luka MVP bet is fun. I think that like the media narrative around it is going to be sexy. People are going to be excited about that. They're tired of giving it to Jokic. I wonder if Shea takes the foot off the gas a little bit. Not that OKC would be bad, but just that OKC doesn't need to play their guys 100 minutes tonight, And if the Lakers somehow finish with a top 4 seed in the East with Luka putting up 31, 11, and 11 or something like that, he seems like he's in incredible shape. They picked up Marcus Smart as well. So I don't know. What's their starting 5? Luka, Austin Reeves, LeBron James, Rui at the 4, and then DeAndre dominating at the 5. The one thing, too, there is some Austin Reeves trade rumors out there, and I wonder if they get a little bit spicy and maybe try to move Reeves for somebody. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. 49 feels like a lot. I feel like they're going to win either 49 or 50 games. So shout out to Las Vegas here. But I kind of think that I think they are going to finish like, I don't know. I'm not going to, what do you guys think about it in the chat? What's your number here? How do we feel about it? Power Duster said the move would be moving the All-Star game to Crypto Arena if they actually wanted to hurt Ballmer, but I don't think they want to make him angry. Yeah. I mean, we'll see, dude. If Pablo keeps doing this, they're going to have to do something. TJ Loco said somebody needs to make the movie where Kawhi plants 1,000. Yeah. To me, they are saying Reeves stays, then give him the bag and let LeBron walk next year. Yeah, maybe. Did you see that poll from the Hoop Collective where Shea didn't get one Best Player in the League award? Oh yeah, there we go. Maybe bulletin board. I don't think I would touch this one. I don't think I would touch 49.5. All right, back to Ballmer. Regular said, I bet he admits guilt and accepts a lesser penalty. He'll plead some sort of deniability to save face for him in the NBA. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He already missed that window. That's the problem. He should have said that immediately, but he's already went to ESPN in some like puff piece with Ramona Shelburne being like, I was conned. I am the victim here. We're all trying to figure out who did this. I don't think I'm going to bet on this one, but would lean over. Oh, the Grizzlies are getting absolutely nuked. And if there was ever a time, most improved, 6th man of the year, maybe an all-star, Santi Aldama. Santi Aldama may be the best click in best ball right now. I wish I was doing it sooner. Santi Aldama. So Zach Edey re-injured, so hurt his ankle, was going to be out for a long time, then was going to miss the start of the season, but they hope to have him maybe like month 2, re-injures that ankle. Edey's going to be out forever. Brandon Clark got dinged up. He's going to miss a ton of time. We still don't know the health of Jaren Jackson Jr. Santi Aldama is going to be playing a ton of basketball. They lose Desmond Bane. I mean, Grizzlies, I think it's going to be a tough year for the Grizzlies. I think if you are betting the over here, you think Jalen Wells is really going to blossom. You think that Cedric Coward, the rookie, is going to do something. You think Ja Morant plays 80 games, 78 games, and is back to his MVP level caliber of basketball where he's averaging like close to 30 points per game. But I mean, I don't know. They're going to be running pick and roll with Santi, I guess. Like, that's going to be their big guy. So I'm going to take the under on here. But I do Santi Aldama is going to be fun. Why has Cuban been so defensive of it, too? This is back to Ballmer. I don't know, man. If I'm just Cuban, I just be quiet for a little bit. Maybe he's just bored, wants to talk. Regular said 4 teams in 2 of the last 3 seasons have been 10-plus games over their projected win total. Are there 2 teams in the West that could do this? No. I listen to Slam and Jam. I'm assuming you're referencing the Slam and Jam podcast on the Athletic Network. I agreed with them. The Chicago Bulls is going to be the team that does that, but we'll save it. Anyways, I'm not touching Memphis this year outside of Santi Aldama. Next up, we get the Minnesota Timberwolves, 49.5. Give me the over. Anthony Edwards out there doing some post-game stuff. Post game. There we go. Not post game, but post game has improved. I'm here for the Ant-Man. Give me the Ant-Man. I think he's going to ball out this year. Julius Randle seems to be mentally healthy. Lots of good conversation from him recently. Naz Reid and Rudy, the 2 big man game. They lose Nickeil Alexander-Walker, but keep everybody else in touch or intact. I think the biggest question this year Do they get anything from these young guys? Jalen Clark, Terrence Shannon Jr., and Robbie Dillingham. Either one of those guys, are they going to be able to contribute in a meaningful way? Does Dante DiVincenzo have a little bit of a bounce back year now that they've been there for like a full off season? But give me the over on the T-Wolves. I think the Timberwolves, dark horse, fun team to win the Western Conference in the regular season, to have the best record. Again, I could just see OKC. OKC should win the West. I'm just not going to bet on the team that's the favorite. That's not fun. They should have the best record in the Western Conference. They by far have the best team, deepest team, best players, whatever. Like, I'm just saying, if you think they're going to take a step back, everyone's going to go towards Denver or Houston or maybe even the Clippers. I think the Timberwolves are a really fun team to bet on. I think they're getting slept on a little bit. Yeah. I mean, the Cuban Nowitzki thing is definitely there. But don't you think he's almost going too hard for this? Like, if he is nervous about that, he really should shut up. Pelicans, 30 wins, 30 and a half. All right, here's the case for the Pelicans, all right? If you want to make a case for the New Orleans, here's the case. Zion's in shape. Maybe he plays all the games. Jordan Poole, I don't know. I kind of like Jordan Poole. Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, both good, ready to go. Yves Missy, year 2. They've got 2 fun rookies in Fears and Queen. The fit is a real problem, though. The fit in New Orleans is a real problem. 30 and a half. I am tempted to take the over on this. And that Zion just averages like 35. And that Trey Murphy really evolves. I'm tempted to take the over. I'm not going to bet. I am going to do this case. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the over on the Pelicans. I'm not going to bet on it, though. I'm not going to bet on it. Skinny Zion for the win. All right, we got to pick up the pace because I got to take my dog to the groomer today. Oklahoma City, 62 and a half. 62 and a half. Listen, I'm going to take the under just because I think they're going to take their foot off the gas. I don't think they're going to need 60 wins to be the number 1 seed in the West. And I just think maybe we see them play Case and Wallace a little bit more. Nikola Topic. Maybe they give their younger guys some more run so that everybody is. They played a ton of basketball last year, So maybe they rest some guys and are just ready to go for the postseason. 62 and a half is so many wins. That's so many wins. So I would take the under there, but I wouldn't feel good about it because I do think the OKC Thunder are repeating this year. That's not my official prediction, but I do think they're going to win. They're so good, man. They're so good, and the East sucks so bad. The Orlando Oh, no, we're not doing the East. Excuse me. Okay, after OKC, we get to the Phoenix Suns, 32 and a half. Give me the under and free my soul. They pick up Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks. They lose KD and Bradley Beal. This team sucks. There's bad energy everywhere. The Phoenix Suns organization is making people sign NDAs. Oh, not NDAs. What are they? They're basically saying they're just saying hey, you can't sue us. If you want to work for us, you can't sue us later. They basically saw what the federal government is doing, and they're like, hey, why don't we act like that here? And that's what the Phoenix Suns are doing. You can't pay me to watch this team. Devin Booker's going to be playing point guard. They've got 3 big men. Kaman Maluk from Duke. They picked up my boy Mark Williams and then Nick Richards. So they were like, give us the Charlotte big men, and then we'll draft the big guy. I do think Dylan Brooks is a good fit for there, but I mean, Dylan Brooks isn't a ceiling raiser or anything like that, right? I think if you could bet on somebody fighting somebody on their own team this year, it'd be Dylan Brooks and somebody on that team. I just don't know who's going to defend there outside of Brooks. They don't, Mark Williams, who is a great fantasy basketball player. He's a terrible rim protector. So they're going to get crushed. They are going to get crushed at the rim. They're going to, outside of Dylan Brooks defending, I mean, I guess they have Royce O'Neal. He can defend. I don't know. Mark Williams will have, from a fantasy perspective, I'm down for it, Regulator. But the difference is DeAndre Ayton is going to have Luka Doncic setting him up. Devin Booker, also Devin Booker, real quick on this. Oh, man, I should have adjusted the shades this morning. Real quick on Devin Booker. And maybe I actually might be wrong. So let's just do this quickly. Okay. No, I am wrong. He played 75 games last year. 68 the year before that, 53 before that. Okay, forget it. I was going to say I feel like Devin Booker is constantly battling a hammy, but I was wrong. Let me take that back. I'm taking the under on Phoenix. I don't like the vibes. Portland Trailblazers 34 and a half. what did they do? They added Drew Holiday, added Holiday. They brought back Dame Time. They got rid of Simons. I don't know. I kind of like. I think I like the over here. I wish this was 32.5, but I like the over. Listen, actually, you know what? I'm a little bit more nervous because Scoot Henderson is going to miss 4 to 8 weeks. The Scoot Henderson injury over the last week sucked really bad. I was kind of excited for him to have the keys. Shaden Sharp. So do they start like Holiday, Sharp, Kamara, Klingon? Their defense when Klingon was playing was nuts. They get Time Lord back for how long? Who knows? But they got rid of DeAndre Ayton, which I think was a bad vibe in the locker room. And I don't think Simons is a bad vibe. Oh, Denny. I forgot about Denny Avdia too. Defensively, they're just going to be locking teams down. I wish if they were in the Eastern Conference, they're probably a 6 seed. So I'm going to take the over on them. I wish it was like 32.5, but I'm going to take the over on Portland. Sac City, 34.5. Okay, this actually, I weirdly think this feels too low. I'm not going to bet on it though because it's DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine. Sacramento is desperately trying to trade Malik Monk, and I have no idea why. I don't know why they don't. Dennis Schroeder, is he going to start at the point guard? This team is not going to defend anybody. Keegan Murray, they've completely nuked the value for Keegan Murray. I don't know how they did it, but they did. Just really bad stuff over there. So I'm not touching this one. I'm staying away from Sacramento this year, just in general. I will attack them. Okay, San Antonio at 45.5 is pretty interesting. They've got how many rookies now, or former rookie of the years? You've got Wembanyama coming back healthy and ready to go. You have Dylan Harper, the rookie they drafted. You've got De'Aaron Fox back and healthy. You have Stephon Castle. You still have Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell. They picked up a bunch of backup centers in Kelly Olynyk, Luke Cornett, baby. I don't know, man. I think I feel like this is not sneaky to say that could the Spurs play themselves out of the play-in game into a top 6 seed? Like if you're looking at it, you probably are still taking OKC, Minnesota, Denver, and Houston as like the top 4. And then you've got those 2 LA teams. So one of those top 6 would have to falter. But I think San Antonio is probably right there as a 6, somewhere between 5 and 7. I'd put them there. If they can stay healthy. I know everybody's like, how do you play all the guards? They'll figure it out. I'm excited about this team. It's fantasy goodness. And then last but not least, the Utah Jazz, 18.5, baby. They're already talking about getting rid of Lauri Markkanen. They've got so many young guys. They got rid of Jordan Clarkson, Colin Sexton, John Collins. So right now, they already said they're not going to extend Walker Kessler this season. So he's either going to get traded this year or he's going to be a restricted free agent. The Lauri Markkanen buzz is there already. They have to play him for a little while to build up his value, even though for Finland, he was like in God mode that whole time. They drafted Walter Clayton and Ace Bailey. I'm imagining they're starting 5, although Will Hardy loves to get Keontae George off the bench. It's going to be something like Keontae, Collier, Bailey, Lowry, Walker Kessler. Now, and then you'd have Kyle Filipowski off the bench, Walter Clayton off the bench. I don't know, actually. Maybe Keontae does come off the bench because they did start Bryce Sensabaugh at the 2 for a while. So they have Sensabaugh, Taylor Hendricks, who had that brutal leg injury at the beginning of last year. He's back. I'm not touching this because as regulator said, the Jazz have to tank to save their protected pick. Yeah, I agree. Jazz are going to be bad. I feel like Lowry and Walker Kessler could find new homes, and I hope they do. So there you go. All right, let's recap here. We went. Let's go. Let's start at the top here and do this quickly. Dallas, we're going to say under. Sorry, Dallas under 41.5. Denver over 54.5. Golden State under 45.5. Houston over 52.5. Clippers over 47.5. Lakers under 49.5. I'm going to say they win 48 games. Grizzlies under 40.5. Timberwolves over 49.5. Pellies, good Lord. We'll say over 30.5. Thunder under 62.5. Phoenix under 32.5. Portland over 34.5. The Kangs, light no beams, under 34.5. Spurs, they're going to win 46 games. Jazz, under. There you go. We did it, baby. We did it. Yeah, they're up there, Sean. They're up there. That's going to do it today. I think we're going to do the NBA bit 3 times this week. We're inching back into 5 days a week, mainly because of health, but we're inching back into 5 days a week. We are, again, can't stress it enough, October 21st, all day long, baby, all day long, sponsored by MoonPay. We're going to have a bunch of guests leading up to the first tip of the game, and then they'll go over to Playback with Weisberg. It'll be our first live before lock. Speaking of so rare, we're going to be, we've got our baseball show on Thursday. We're going to start our weekly NBA show over there too. We're going to have some best ball drafting that's happening this week. I'm now up over 75 double dribbles. I think I'm capping myself at a hundo. We're going to see. I've got some other fun updates too that hopefully I'll be able to get to later in this week. But we're off to a fun start, man. I'm so excited basketball's back. I'm tired of watching baseball and talking myself in NFL. I'll save it for the other day, next show. But man, we had some fun NFL sweats recently too. Very exciting stuff. But it's good to be back, baby. It's good to be back. Go check out the Celtics Daily channel, the Elite Fantasy Hoops channel. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Have a day, huh? Have a day.